So it's finally got cold in England, and this video I thought I would make some cookies, seeing as they are a bit of an autumn treat. This video I have made creme brulee cookies as well as a little gift box that you could display them in or send them to your friends. So let's get started and kick on the video.
So here are most of the ingredients that you may not find in your kitchen cupboard at home. You might have to go out and get some of them, but they're pretty basic and you can get them in most shops. Also going to need demerara sugar, which you're going to caramelise on top of the cookies afterwards. You're going to need a blowtorch to do this with. You can get these in most cook shops as well. So to start off, I'm cutting up the batter into squares. I've done this so that you can melt it a bit easier in the microwave. Don't forget not to put metallic things in the microwave because it will blow up and that will not be good. So yeah, I'm just cutting it all into little squares. You're going to want to put it in the microwave for about 10-second periods at a time, just so the butter softens, so it's a bit easier for you to mix into the flour and every other dry ingredient that you have. You know the butter's done when it's just soft and you can squish it easily with a knife like this. You don't want to melt it too much because otherwise it will separate and go oily, which is not what you want. So weigh out all your ingredients into a bowl on a weighing scales. And don't forget in between just a 0, which is what I've done just so I don't have to measure it out in a different bowl. It saves washing up. You're going to want to mix them all together in a bowl so it's a bit easier later once you start adding the butter in. So you're going to want to mix this together as well, but it's easier with a wooden spoon to be honest, but you can do it however you like. Just mix it all in together, it just makes kneading a little bit easier. I've added the butter in a little at a time just so I can mix it a bit better and it doesn't go everywhere. So when you start kneading the dough, it's going to be a little bit mushy and dry, gross at first, and you can wear gloves if you want to. I've just chosen not to because I find it easier. But don't worry, eventually it will go into a slightly better dough, which you can use it better, and it'll clear up all the crumbs around the bowl and even the ones on your hand. It's going to be a smooth dough. It's going to be a little bit tacky, but you don't want to work it too much, otherwise it will get too hot and that won't be very good. Put your dough out onto a flat surface and then mould it into shape. I'm using a rolling pin as well, just so make life a little bit easier, so you can get it a bit flatter to the sort of thickness of cookie you want, however you like it really. I'm making mine into a rectangle just so I can cut it into equal size squares later. Taking my knife and I'm going to cut it into squares just so they're all similar sized cookies. You don't want huge cookies and some tiny cookies because inevitably someone will get annoyed they've got a little one. I'm taking the offcuts off the side so I can use them later if any of the cookie squares aren't quite the same size. You're going to want to roll your squares into little balls so you can press them down later. Ta-da! Rolled all of mine into balls and now I can start putting them on the tray. You're going to get some baking paper and press that down. I've cut mine to the right size of the baking tray. Simply take your ball of dough and then press it down with the palm of your hand onto the baking tray. Now I'm using the knife just to make a little cross-hatch pattern in my cookie, but you can do whatever pattern you like. So just keep going with those little balls of dough until you filled up all the trays. I actually needed to use 2 trays because I made so much dough, so if you don't have 2 trays you can just do them on 2 separate bakings. It's up to you really. I originally added my sugar at 10 minutes through the 20-minute baking time, but I later found out that if you put the sugar on before you put it in the oven and then cook it for the full 20 minutes, to be honest, it does actually caramelise a bit better afterwards, which made life a lot easier and probably saved a lot of gas. So to caramelise, you're going to need to put your blowtorch on. Be very careful when you're doing this, as the blowtorch will be really hot. The trick with caramelising the sugar is once the sugar starts bubbling, to move the blowtorch to another patch of the cookie so that it doesn't burn. It's gift box time. So what you're going to need to make this box that I've made to display my cookies in is 2 sheets of card, one sturdier than the other to make the base, tissue paper for decoration, a smaller piece, metallic pens, glitter glue. I've used these 2 for decoration, but you can use whatever you'd like. Glue. I also use some PVA, little mini pegs, some little scissors, and ribbon just for decoration. What you're going to want to do with your first piece of card is to fold it in half and make a square. Don't forget that for the base of the box you need to make that slightly smaller so that the lid will actually fit onto it. Just make a slightly smaller square. Cut off the excess. Then you need to fold it in half one way and in half the other way, just so you know where the centre of your square is. This box making is a little bit like origami, so take one corner, fold it into the centre, and then fold it in half again. This is going to create the side to one of yours. You're going to want to repeat that on the other side. Now the 2 sides are different, so I'm going to show a close-up of how to do the side that's going to be on the end of your box. You're going to want to fold this one again into the centre, but don't fold it again afterwards. This just gives you a guideline of where you need to fold it. Unfold the fold you just made, and then fold that corner just so you've got the edge now. This creates a bit of a longer box opposed to a square one. If you wanted a square box, repeat all the way around. To make the corner of the box, you're going to just need to push the 2 sides together so the excess card folds inward and push it down. Take your glue, glue the bit where you've just folded so that bit sticks together on the inside. And then you also need to glue on one side of the fold just so you can stick it down on the inside of the box and it doesn't look all messy. You're going to want to do the same for the other sections of the box so you can glue it all in together. You need to press together to form the edges of the box. And then you can glue down all this extra bit of paper and you've got the bottom of your box formed. And then you can just do exactly the same thing on a slightly smaller one to make the inside. So I wanted to make a little flavour card just so I can show off what flavour it is if I put it out on display. I've chosen to draw around a credit card just because I like the rounded corners, but you can use whatever size stencil you want. And then you're going to want to cut that out. My cookies were creme brulee flavour, so I've written that down the box and I've also decorated it with a gold glitter pen. And then I pegged that to my box. Here's the finished thing. I've put the tissue paper inside. Thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe.